And I'm not getting ahead of myself, Jimbo, but I mean, if we don't win 46 games and concede 0 goals, I'll be amazed this season.
Clean sheeting away back to the big time, mate. This is not what we're used to.
Okay, there'll be bigger challenges to come. Of course there will. But by the time we meet them, the confidence that this defence is going to have, you fancy them stand up to it.
Get the 2 goals, comfortable win, not got one in 21 years in London Road, back to Luton, job done. Up the economical hatters.
We're going down the CFAX route that it don't appear on. The table don't appear for a couple of games because I need time to get it all sorted out and everything.
You're now going to have to explain to the younger people what CFAX is.
Ask your old man.
This could be the start of good times. Please, Luton, don't let that come back to bite me in the arse.
The first away day of the season was an extremely positive one for the town on Saturday as we went to London Road and beat Peterborough United 2-0. Alongside me to look back on a really enjoyable afternoon, certainly the latter part of it at least, is the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe. Jimbo, anytime Luton win away, we're happy.
We do love playing away and winning.
Absolutely. Not happened as often as we wanted it to over the last couple of seasons, so we're going to rejoice in it when it does, and we'll do that right after this intro. Hello everyone, welcome along to another episode of the Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast, the award-winning, longest-running Luton Town podcast, having scooped bronze in the Best Football League podcast category at the Football Content Awards. This season, the show is in association with Solid, providing opportunities, provisions and assistance so our academy can fulfil their potential. As I mentioned prior to the intro, we are looking back on Peterborough United 0, Luton Town 2, and alongside me to do that, I've got the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe. Jimbo, I probably should just throw the floor open to you because obviously I gave my initial thoughts, if I can get it out, straight after the game. Do we go as far as saying it was a game of 2 halves?
Yeah, I think you have to, really, but I'm happy with that. We're work in progress, and some people don't like that, but if you progress from the first half, which was solid but not unspectacular, and one chance, which was Makosa's guide, and then the second half, more dominant, get the 2 goals, comfortable win, not got one in 21 years in London Road, back to Luton, job done.
Indeed, yeah, and going on 20 years for the first time that we've won both games to start a season and kept clean sheets in both of those games as well, in the Football League, that is. Yeah, the first half, mundane a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as or as boring as last Friday night was. You know, it was more of a, not a tactical battle, but it was more of a how can we break them down kind of thing. And we were the final pass or a bit of movement or someone running too early away from doing it. We were caught offside 4 or 5 times, weren't we, in that first half? Jerry Yates, we'll come on to him in a minute. We were told that it was going to come too soon for him to start this game, but lo and behold, there he was on the team sheet, that naughty scamp Matt giving us wrong information. But He only made 2 changes, didn't he, from the team lineup? Jerry Yates was one of them. Yates came in, he played up front. Naki Wells went in sort of behind him. Nigel Longwick was one of the players that came out. Millie Ali went left wing back.
Longwijk, somebody said on our comments, he's Dutch. We should be saying Longwijk.
Which will do me. I only went Longwick because I listened to Simon during the Spurs friendly, and that's what he was calling him. It will go with the Longwijk because he's an absolute spitting of Virgil van Dijk, isn't he? So we might as well rhyme the name up as well. And the other one, we called Baptiste to come in for Liam Walsh. And
what a prediction that was, by the way. This is Prophet Kevin Harper over here.
What can I say, you know? I also predicted a Luton win, unlike your good self, but, you know, can't have everything.
Boo.
What a masterstroke that was, actually, Jimbo, because I said it in the sort of instant reaction that I did. I really enjoyed Baptiste's performance. I've never not enjoyed him as a footballer. I just don't enjoy him getting injured all the time. And, you know, obviously that's mental scarring from all of the players that we've had that has got injured. And he's unfortunately just the latest fall guy of it. Doesn't want to be injured. Of course he doesn't. But simple and effective. there's a goal in him sometime soon, and I think it will be his goal rather than via a defender's arse or whatever it was against Coventry. But when him and Saville were alongside each other in midfield, if you give either of them two space, you're going to pay the price for it. And okay, Peterborough didn't, because we are still a little bit clunky going forward, aren't we, in open play?
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the shoots of the labour of them two. They're going to form a very nice partnership this season.
They look a pretty mean League One midfield partnership. I mean, Saville could comfortably be playing Championship, and hopefully this is the season Baptiste stops being made of poppadoms. Joke courtesy of Luton on the Twitter, but about Burke. Then if those two can form a partnership with some longevity and some robustness, I mean, it's a big question mark over Baptiste, obviously, but he did it yesterday for 60 odd minutes, and Saville, I think, played 40 plus games for Millwall last season, so no problem there. Championship clubs wanted him despite his age, still Northern Irish international, isn't he? So yeah, those two look pretty formidable as a partnership. And then when you've got somebody like Walsh to come on, which is exactly what you said in the preview, wasn't it? To come on when people are a bit tired and he can pick holes in defences. That's great. But yeah, I was really pleased with that as a centre partnership. But everything is looking really solid. Like you say, it's just not quite clicking up front. But there's a new team up front. They're going to have to get used to that. But while you're comfortable at the back, I mean, so comfortable at the back, cigar on comfortable at the back, then and you we've won 2 games, we've had 3 shots on target and scored 3 goals. That's pretty economical. So up the economical hatters. Go on.
Well, that's it, because last season, how many big chances did we miss? Now we're not getting the big chances, but we're putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's what it's all about. I mean, you're right. How tight are we at the back? I mean, Wimbledon created an XG of 0.03. Peterborough were better than Wimbledon. They were going to struggle to be as bad. But their XG over the course of the afternoon, 0.28. Teams are not creating anything against us. Kearley had 2 saves to make yesterday. The first one was a P-roller that he had enough time to have a cup of tea and read the newspaper before he had to get down and save it. Second one, shot straight at him. It was hit pretty hard, but there's no way that was getting through his hands. And apart from coming out and gathering a few balls on the edge of his box, which last season would have been a one-on-one from the striker in on the goalkeeper, he doesn't have a lot to do. And do you know what? The reason why he doesn't have a lot to do is because he's so much further forward from his goal line, that the defence is so much further forward from our goal line, and you just can't get into our penalty box easily enough. Both of those shots that Peterborough had were from, well, not distant. The first one was from distance. The second one was in the box, but he'd literally only just cut inside the penalty box, wasn't he? He wasn't close in or anything like that. You just can't get close in because we're so far up the pitch. We're condensing the play. We're squeezing the opposition. If a ball does go over Mads Andersen, Kearley's recognised it and he's away and he's mopping it up. Mads Andersen's happy to. And if you think back to the Watford game last season, Mads Andersen was trying to leave a ball to Kaminsky and it wasn't happening, was it? Now he's more than happy to leave the ball for Kearley because he knows full well Kearley, if the ball's going into the box, he'll be there to collect it, and if it's going to sort of be in between, he'll race out and deal with it. And he looks a completely different individual to the one that was into, turned like the QE2 at Watford as well, didn't he? He just looked like a guy who forgotten how to defend in that game. Now he looks like a class act, and obviously a goal yesterday as well. Maybe poor old McGuinness's virus is going to keep him on the bench for a little bit longer than I thought in the preview.
The choices at the back are pretty ridiculous, really. Mads, I mean, he got skinned at Watford, didn't he? And then come off, and that was the making of Makoso. And now, really, if he ever finds a pacey player up against him, now Makoso can do that mopping up anyway. But I was lucky enough to be invited down to the training ground in the summer with the other media boys, and Bloomfield was talking about Mads Andersen. Mads Andersen is the Mads Andersen of Barnsley 2 years ago. He was captain fantastic, signed him as their best player for the Premier League. He scored at West Ham. That was his last goal nearly 2 years ago. And he's almost been permanently injured since. Really rough time for him. But he said this time he's come back like that player. You can see it because the defence is very mean. It's miserly. And everything's got to start from that, because the goals against record was absolutely shocking last season. And really, if you look back, if you want, compare, I mean, we're only 2 games in, but the excuses set in straight after Burnley, didn't they? Got battered 4-1, had barely a player with a leg, 2 legs to stand up with because they were all injured, and it was like, well, wait a month when they're all back. Don't worry, it'll happen. And then it didn't, and then don't worry, we'll be okay by this time. Don't worry, be okay. And we fell for it. I fell for it. We were saying no, we'll be okay as well. So we got that wrong, but now it's like work in progress, but while you're figuring it out, still winning, and teams ain't having a sniff. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is a work in progress, but the good thing is the progress is clearly there for us to see. Yesterday, sorry, we're recording this Sunday night. Saturday, so much better than the Wimbledon game. It was untrue. Yeah, I know Peterborough came out to play a little bit more. They played more into our hands and things like that. Maybe not in the first half. Maybe you're right. But, you've got to think that Jerry Yates probably still don't know the names of the people that he's playing alongside, let alone knowing who's going to pass where and everything else by this stage. Of what would he have had? Half a dozen training sessions at most. And
Also, the wing back situation isn't sorted yet, is it? And that is quite specifically to get balls into the box where the likes of Jerry Yates will be sniffing. But in the meantime, you've got Naki Wells who'll chase after a goalie and get you a goal like that. So two assists in 2 games is not bad, is it?
certainly isn't bad. Nope. Yeah, devoid of chances in that first half, really, weren't we? Chris Makosso probably had the only genuine one. I think it was a corner. It was a set piece of some kind anyway that came into the box, got pushed out towards him, didn't it? He was a little bit off balance. Must have known that I was due to collect a serious amount of money if he'd put that in the bottom corner, and unfortunately skied it over the top. But hey, I'll forgive him, considering we won. We're all good. The key thing, though, Jimbo, what I really like, and I keep on having to stress this. I don't know why, but I do keep on having to stress it. I really like the cut of Matt Bloomfield's jib. But what I really like about him the most is he doesn't tolerate um, slackness. And there was a little bit of slackness in that first 45 minutes. Not intentional, but the players recognised that they weren't quite up to the standards that they wanted to be. He didn't wait 15 minutes in the second half to see if they'd get it right themselves. He made that change at half time. I don't think it was a slight on Rue Waters. I think there's a slight
Injured.
knock there.
Yeah, he's injured, yeah.
But what it did mean was Nigel Longwyke came on. Wyke?
We'll get it someday.
Nigel, get in touch. Let us know what it is. Longwyke, we'll go with that. He came on. He played right back. Cal Naismith moved to left back. Millie Ali moved further forward. He attracted 2 defenders. That took away one of the midfielders from the 2 central midfielders that I was speaking about a minute ago. That gave Saville and Baptiste time. You give those 2 time, they're going to pick out an attacking player. And all of a sudden, we started purring again. Millie Ali was carrying the ball. Cal Naismith was overlapping from left back. Should have been Cal Naismith really who opened the scoring when Millie Ali played him in. And he went kind of cockeyed right-footed, didn't he, rather than belting it with his left foot. And he'd probably scored had he have done that. But from that moment onwards, I thought, we're starting to move through the gears here. We're starting to click. Everyone was doing things that they needed to do. Naismith was getting the ball down and carrying it into midfield again, creating an overload. If you watch Matt Bloomfield's pre-match press conference, he spoke an awful lot about overloads. In fact, he must have used the word a couple of dozen times, mustn't he? Overload. And that's what we were able to do once we made that substitution at halftime. Again, I don't think it was a slight on rewards. The 10 was starting to get a little bit of joy down that side towards the end of the half. But like you say, I do think there was a little bit of a knock there. But it was just a different game in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, still not top gear, so don't get that twist or anything. There's still plenty of room to grow into this team. But while you're growing and still grinding out wins, I mean, the first one was a grind and it was luck, but this was comfortable. Certainly by the time Mad scored, it was comfortable. But you're right, the second half come out, looked a lot better, played a lot. It felt more jointed rather than disjointed, if that's even the right term. But it's good. I mean, the thing about Matt Bloomfield, we were talking about this last season and saying that he's doing good things, and people were umming and ahhing. That's fair enough because of the absolute mire we're in. But and it's been referenced many times, and even by him, you look at it, the last 11 games, if you take out the Hawthorns one, which is an absolute debacle, only Leeds and Burnley got more points than Luton in in that period, and he was doing what he'd come to do, which was get Luton to safety, and they were more than favourites for safety until that last game, and we still. That, I mean, what we know, we saw our own eyes what happened, but how it happened, I don't know. But and that sort of that leads you into a summer of sort of questioning and stuff, doesn't it? But yeah, he's come in and bought 10 new players. That's going to take a long time, and we still haven't seen half of them, have we? So that's another thing. We've got another month for the window to go for purchases to get a striker in, or an attacker. I think that's where the money needs to be spent now. Clearly, the defence aren't giving much away. We've talked about midfield and the options there, so it's got to be that. And when you put it in context like that, obviously he got his own song at the weekend as well, so that speaks more volumes than sort of any sort of analysis, really, doesn't it? When nearly 4,000 happy hatters are singing his name and asking him to do fist bumps and cheering it on, which is great to see, and it's just that's what victories do, doesn't it? You get to that sort of stage, and you play pretty well, and you get a victory on a ground where you're not used to it for quite some time, and suddenly the sort of the gloom starts to lift a bit, and that's football, innit? And that's what you got to do. I mean, you got to put all of the talk and all the manoeuvrings together, or aside even, and then just go and win some full matches. And now 2 on the bounce, and now everyone's feeling a bit happier. And there'll be some people that still won't be having it, and that's absolutely fine, because for 2 years it's been tough.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, no, I was really proud of the crowd yesterday, actually, because you could tell. I mean, in the pre-match, that the vibe was good. You could tell that was, and they wanted to make it into a really good away day. I mean, whenever Luton take more than 3,000 to an away game, that's a good atmosphere in the making. But in that first half, they just didn't give us enough to really sort of latch onto, and obviously, no one's really all that lubricated for a 12:30 kickoff. I mentioned in the preview, I can't stand them because it does dilute the atmosphere beyond belief. I mean, Peterborough fans were silent as well as us. So obviously, they didn't have anything to cheer about at all, really, did they, over the course of the afternoon? But second half, when we were given something to cheer behind, the noise was really, really loud. The songs for most of the players were getting songs. Jerry Yates has taken over Carlton Morris's Manfred Mann song, and Naki Wells has got his own song, and a couple of the others have kind of got their song. And obviously, when Lamine Fana came on, he was getting his traditional cries of, I won't repeat it because we're trying to be a family show, but if you're in the away end, you know exactly what I'm getting at. But the goal certainly helped it, Jimbo, and maybe the one thing we didn't realise we'd signed George Saville for was to take a bloody mean corner. But he can take a mighty mean corner, because that was planted right on Mad's head. There was no way on this world that the defender was going to stop him from getting to that ball. And then connected, nice diving header, bottom corner, pandemonium.
Absolutely fabulous diving header, by the way, as well, because he's getting his shirt tugged by the defender, and he wanted that. And to get your head on it in the first place, great. To head it down is textbook, isn't it? And yeah, I'm glad for him, really, because I thought he'd be gone. I thought that it just hadn't worked out for him here. That he was sort of not going to be one of the first choices anyway, and then he was injured, and then the Watford game happened last season. You thought, that looks like a club career ender, and yeah, and he like I said, in the summer we were getting talked up. Mads is back, sort of thing, and I think you could see it in his celebration, his face. Like that was 2 years of frustration, really. And yeah, he deserved it, really. It was a great corner, and that's kind of the bread and butter that we'd been used to in the promotion season, and to a certain degree in some of the Premier League as well. So that was good to see, and Saville getting it as well. Yeah, brilliant stuff, because you got Naismith as well, can whip them in. So the more delivery specialists you've got, the height of the defenders is ridiculous. and that's got to frighten the life out of a lot of people. So, yeah, brilliant stuff. And I'm pleased for him, really, because he's a nice bloke as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's it is a weird one, isn't it? Because you're right. I mean, I wrote him off on even as recently as the preview show. I was saying McGuinness is going to come in for him imminently. Well, maybe not. Maybe I was just thinking that because, like you said, the Watford game, the debacle, that game in particular carries more weight than any other game as well, doesn't it? And you know, but yeah, no, fair play to him. Sometimes you just got to put the past behind you and look at what you've got right in front of you. And what we've got right in front of us right now is a pretty mean-looking centre half who we know is perfectly good for this level because he's shone in that Barnsley side. He was in the team of the season, their player of the season. This is a team that we took pretty much their entire squad from at the time. So, yeah, no, fair play to Mads Andersen. Brilliant header and well deserved after two really, really solid performances. And from there was no danger. The Town it was can we go on and get a couple more goals? It wasn't a case of let's hang on for the 1-0 or I hope they don't score an equaliser or anything like that. They could still be playing now and they weren't scoring.
I think that gets underestimated because it's still away. It's still early in the season, still with a team that aren't that au fait with each other. Peterborough traditionally is a hard place to go. I take it that they flirted with relegation last season and they lost their first game to Cardiff. So, their three best players went for nothing, didn't they, in the summer? So, I get that that's difficult, but it's still an away tie, and the challenges that brings. But to be comfortable is kind of being overlooked, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're going to take it for granted because it's going to happen an awful lot this season based on what we've seen so far. Listen, the people out there who are saying, well, we haven't played anything yet, you might be right. But sometimes it's not who you play, it's how you play it. And we're playing it particularly well. And who knows, maybe Saturday is a bigger test than Saturday just gone. But
You just look at Wimbledon. They didn't have a sniff, and then they went and won at the weekend, didn't they, against
Lincoln, yeah.
Lincoln, who were pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah, with Sonny Bradley in their back line, giving penalties away, yeah, and things. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, literally the only shot Peterborough had, literally, I'm not even exaggerating here, I'm telling it straight, literally the only shot Peterborough had in that second half was that free kick from the left back, and that must have been 35 yards out if it was a yard, and it was...
Keeley dived for show.
I was going to say, I think it was
wide, didn't he?
Yeah, it looked closer from the away end than it actually was, I'm pretty sure. So apart from that, it was all a case of how many goals could Luton get. And all of a sudden, once we got our ourselves in front, our chests were out a little bit more. We were pinging the ball around a bit. Probably wasn't the easiest pitch to ping the ball around on a boiling hot day. That pitch would have dried up like crazy. It actually looked really, really nice, to be fair. We would do. They play football, don't they? Could have scored, not immediately after, but soon after. A lovely little move, got the ball rolled into Shandon Baptiste, who, as I said in my initial reaction, if he'd hit it first time, I think he scores, but he wanted to let the ball roll across his body to hit it left-footed, didn't he? And the defender sort of closed him out. But that's twice now, isn't it? As soon as we've scored, that Shandon Baptiste popped up in the box and probably should have scored. He should have scored against Wimbledon when he put it just wide. Had that chance as well. It's coming.
Yeah, it is coming, and that really, really capped off a very good outing for him. Just does the simple stuff well, but he's athletic is on top of it. So it's clear to see that, and you've said it before, that Shandon Baptiste is far better than League One, but his injury record probably dictates that he has to go and prove himself somewhere, and this could be that season. I think, there's a lot more to come from him as well. Like everybody else who's trying to gel, he's virtually a new player, isn't he? Because he didn't play that often, and he didn't play that many minutes, and he hasn't played that many minutes for most of his career, really. And it's a shame because there's a footballer there, and hopefully we're starting to see that, and he can just play some more and be robust. And if it's the case that he plays 60 minutes and he has to come off, fine. Liam Walsh can go there, or whatever the formation is. There's other midfield players that can come on. A Doffin when he's fit can play that. So there's lots of ways to play this if it means gradually building him up to match fitness that he can play longer. But even if it's just 65 minutes and he gives you his best of that, that's going to be a lot it's going to be good a lot of the time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, when Matt first came in, he was doing the same with Liam Walsh, wasn't he? Got to the 70-minute mark and Walsh
Mm.
went off. So he obviously knows how to manage these guys. I mean, we've mentioned on this podcast ever since Matt came in that he likes to rotate his front players, doesn't he? And obviously Baptiste is going to go in that line as well. 65 minutes. Fanny came on for him, and
I mean, Fana, I didn't even. I left him out really in that sort of option stake. Because he'd be battling for a first choice. Really, he looks really good at the moment, and he's sort of building into English football as well. So the amount of options that they've got defensively and midfield are really good at the moment. And then we know that he had, 5 or 6 attackers at Wickham that he could rotate whenever things were getting stale or players were coming off the boil. And that's probably where they'd need to be looking in the remainder of this transfer window. What, 3 weeks is it? But I know, obviously, we know they're looking. But if they don't get somebody, then it might still be okay because those players haven't really hit top form yet. And that's okay.
that's it. Yeah, Liam Walsh also came on. 25 minutes to go. Yates was the other one who went off. He was never going to do more than an hour, really, was he? In his first game after not much of a pre-season, as Matt explained in the preview. It was the other side of the goal to where I was sat, Jimbo. But should we have had a penalty for the pull on Mads Andersen at the back post from another one of Saville's free kicks? It certainly looked like he was getting pulled all over the place.
Well, I mean, you've seen them given, and certainly it's a different world, isn't it? When we've been in the Premier League and those things get reviewed. But I think, League One stalwarts might go, that would have been soft, and you probably got a case there. It's one of those either ors.
Fair enough. And then did come the second goal, didn't it? 5 minutes from time. Maybe when we're right up to speed, that will come a little bit earlier, but that's fine. And like we've said, there was never any danger at the other end. They literally could still be playing now, and they wouldn't have scored. And boy, is it good to say that about a Luton defence, having conceded like sieves in big matches for the last 2 seasons. The second goal, I mean, we're going to have this one as our funny moment of the season, aren't we? Because, I did reference on the preview that this goalkeeper's got a clanger or two up his sleeve, and actually, to be fair to the goalkeeper, he was sold right down the river by the back pass. The back pass is horrendous. When the back pass happened, I'm right in line with it. I thought that was going straight in. The goalkeeper's actually done his defender a favour to keep it out the back of the net, but he's obviously got no left foot, so he tries to put it on his right foot, but the touch of the left foot sends it well away from him, and Nahki Wells is like all over that like a rash. Matt Bloomfield's already done this when he managed Wickham against Peterborough. He chased his goalkeeper down and got a goal in that exact identical fashion. And Wells, to be fair, I mean, he was on the keeper before the keeper kicked the ball, wasn't he? There was absolutely nowhere that the keeper could go with it. There's an awful lot of strikers who put that in themselves, but not Nahki Wells. He just rolls it across to Jordan Clark, who seemed to take an eternity to put it in. But when you see it back on the replay, you see why, because the defender's right in front of him. But comedy moment, but also reward for absolutely never stopping running.
Yeah, both those things you can say it's a complete gaff, which it is, but it's forced by that action and being that relentless runner for it. Obviously gets a bit of luck with the ricochet because it bounces down and straight in front of him, so he's could go anywhere, but luckily so that it goes to Clark. And I like I was going to say I like that unselfishness, but I also like a bit of selfishness. Basically, I want my cake and I want to eat it. But I like in that instance where he's gone, I could score, I could get off the mark from a new club and stuff, but the easier pass is Jordan Clark, and then he rolls it in, and then it's game, set, and match, isn't it? I like that. That's a team player stuff, and I think that will endear him very quickly if it hasn't already to Hatters fans.
Yeah, I tell you who doesn't like it as much. Someone who's backed in to be top scorer in this division, and that'll be yours truly. But
it's a mugs game, mate. Bet it's a mugs game.
He is going to score an awful lot of goals, so I'll let Clicker have that one. That's for sure. He is going to score a lot of goals, though, isn't he? His movement is just so clever. I'm not even talking about movement in behind the defence here, Jimbo. I'm talking about movement of just coming off of the defender to get some space to get the ball to be able to turn and run at defenders. He's now playing the deeper position to Jerry Yates, isn't he? So his role isn't anymore unless Yates comes short, which happened a few times as well, and that's fine because he's got the physicality to bring the defenders with him. But his primary role now is to pick the ball up with his back to goal Wells and to turn and then run at the defenders. And the way he just moves into space, and this was all again because of the tactical change that got Millie Ali up the pitch, and they to brick when Millie Ali was anywhere near them, as you would do, wouldn't you? Once he's got space, Wells, you ain't getting anywhere near him. He might be 35, but he has still got to turn a foot on him.
I got hands it to him. You know, when they signed and we were messaging, I was dubious. I thought, you know, is he not due for the glue factory or something because of his age? And hands up, they've done some good work there in seeing that he's A, available, and B, can still cut it. He could probably still do it in the Championship, but certainly in League One, no bother whatsoever. He's I'm one of those occasions where I'm very, very, very happy to be wrong.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, we're going to enjoy watching Nicky Wells. Yeah, long may that continue. I mean, keep him fit at all costs. And that was his last contribution, wasn't it? Closing the goalkeeper down. He was taken off straight after. Mark McGuinness came on for another 5 minutes. Nige moved
Lovely little stat before you tell everyone who's come in and what that. But he's set up 2 goals in 2 games, and they've both been in the 85th minute. Lovely stuff.
What Jimbo's saying there is if you need a pee towards the end of the game, make sure you've gone before the 85th minute because Wells is going to set up a goal at Bradford on Saturday. Yeah, Mark McGuinness came on for him, didn't he? Another reshuffle. We went back to the back 3. Makosso down the right-hand side, Mads Anderson, McGuinness. And obviously Nige came across this side. Sorry, McGuinness went to the right-hand side. Makosso went right wing back. And that nearly proved to have some joy as well, didn't it? Because a ball comes across to Makosso 30 odd yards out. The whole of the away end's like, shoot. Do you remember, like, this is like Nakamba style, isn't it? Shoot. And Nakamba would be like, it's not happening. I'll just find a pass. Makosso was like, well, go on then. Let's have a go. And he's hit one. It's gone straight down the keeper's throat, hasn't he? I have no idea why the keeper's fumbled it or whatever. But on another day, that finds its way into the top bins and that puts the icing and the cherry on top of the cake.
It shows you how comfortable it was at that point that, you know, he'd have a go. But although I think he's probably a bit more adventurous than Marvellous is in the shoot stakes when he's 30 yards out. He had a ping at the end of last season, I seem to remember as well, didn't he? So, you know, he probably wants that. He wants to probably break his duck there somewhere.
That one's still being located in Dunstable, though, isn't it? He's got the radar right anyway, yeah. Yeah, and that was the last action, really, wasn't it? We saw the game out so well. I mean, that's 2 games on the trot that we've seen out so well, you know. You think back again under Rob's time, and I'm not, you know, not meaning to be disrespectful to Rob in any way, shape or form, but if we had a 1-goal lead, you knew there was a golden chance coming at the other end. We just had to hope like hell that it got missed, the whole game in particular. I mean, even to be fair, in Matt's early stages, the Portsmouth one was a glaring miss as well, wasn't it? But now, they barely get into our half. They definitely don't get into our penalty box. And okay, there'll be bigger challenges to come. Of course there will. But by the time we meet them, the confidence that this defence is going to have, you fancy them stand up to it.
Clean sheet in a way back to the big time, mate. And that's, you know, it feels very comfortable and safe and kind of like this is not what we're used to, really, because, you know, it's been, even in the Premier League when we loved it, really, but it was harem scarum and, you know, someone brought up the Bournemouth game when you're 3-0 up and lose 4-3, which was the beginning of the end. You know, with hindsight, it does look like that's what it was. And there was, and it just went on the slide from then. But to go anywhere and shut teams out in the fashion that Luton are doing, it's got the feeling of the Premier League promotion season. It's got the feeling of the League One promotion season already. And, you know, I don't want to count your chickens too early in that front, but you can't win nothing if you don't keep goals out. But you can go and win 1-0 every single game and get promoted. And it might not be pretty, but it'll get the job done and it will restore some good feeling, good vibes. Starting to do that already, I think, isn't it? So, it's a tactic and a style that's working at the moment, and let's just go with it because if you're going into a game thinking you can win it rather than really worrying, I mean, we've really worried. Everybody has. Everybody that's been to games for so long. It's kind of hard to break out of that spell, isn't it? But I think you can now see that we can start leaving that behind a bit. That this could be the start of good times.
Oh yeah, without doubt. And also separate your concerns off the pitch with your concerns on the pitch. The concerns off the pitch, there's still things that need to be rectified. You know, the situation of all sorts of things. We have to trust that the new people that are in place are going to deliver on that as they've promised to do. But on the pitch, all we can do is win football matches, and we're winning football matches. I mean, I'm not getting ahead of myself, Jimbo, but I mean, if we don't win 46 games and concede 0 goals, I'll be amazed this season.
It's lovely to joke about it, but I mean, I don't. With what we've seen of those two games, and there will be tougher tests, obviously, and maybe Bradford is one of them. But I think they're going to concede so few goals here in this one. You know, it could be. I think somebody said we're going to. I mean, there are plenty of people that on the optimistic side said we're going to absolutely romp this league, 100 goals, 100 points. I don't know about at the moment. I don't know about 100 goals, but you could see 100 points and not that many conceded. I mean, please, Luton, don't let that come back to bite me in the arse.
Let's clip this 35 minutes into the third podcast of the season, just in case it's needed. Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you, Jimbo. I mean, I went into the season and I never have any problems expressing confidence if it's something that I believe in, right? Regardless of whether it's overconfident or underconfident or anything like that. And I firmly believe that and I said it on this podcast, what we have in the building should get automatically promoted. Football's not played in this studio, it's played on the football pitch, and they've got to go out and do that. But I get the feeling, listening to people, and I know Matt's driving expectation down, and of course he is, that's his job. But I listened to interviews with Jordan Clark in particular after the game yesterday. He knows full well that he's in a squad that should be getting automatically promoted. And that's why they were disappointed at half-time yesterday that they didn't put up a true reflection of themselves. However, maybe this is a season where, for an hour, we have got to grind it out with some of these teams. But once we've worn them down with our pace, with our power, with our movement, with our freshness off of the bench, we've got half an hour to let our class shine, and that class is only going to get better. And that's where the goals will start to flow. We're going to be a team that scores a lot of late goals. I'm absolutely certain of that, because teams can't contain the amount of pace and power that we can throw at them when everyone's fit, and I'm thinking Izzy Jones in particular. They can't contain that for 90 minutes at this level, because if they have those kind of engines in them, they're not playing at this level. And we shouldn't, in terms of the players that we've got, we shouldn't be at this level. We all know why we're at this level, because last year was such an absolute car crash. But now that the car's been put back together and the gears are starting to go forward, we've come out of neutral, we're into first gear.
It's a new car, basically, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. And it's a massive upgrade on a car as well, let me just say. It is starting to feel like, if not the promotion winning season, the League One title winning season, where we were clunky as hell in the first 10 games of that. And, you know, and it was important that we, even though we're still a bit clunky, that we're getting results, because the Slovenia thing is another thing that's in Luton fans' heads, isn't it? You go to Slovenia, you come away, 2 months of the season have gone by before you're up to speed, sort of thing.
Well, but they're fitter anyway. We've referenced that plenty of times. Yeah, they look fitter.
That was a fitness thing. This is not a fitness thing. This is purely I don't know you very well, you don't know me very well, but in 6 games' time, we'll know exactly where we're going, sort of thing. So it's important that that was the case. But once we did find our groove in League One last time, we went on a 28-game unbeaten run. We won't go on a 28-game unbeaten run this time around, but we will go on lengthy unbeaten runs, because we are going to be so hard to beat.
Yeah, and if you can make it straight off the bat, like is currently happening, you know, if you could get to let's do it incrementally. Let's start with 5, And then when you get 5, can you go to 10? And then that's a quarter of the season almost done when you ain't lost, and everything is like, oh yeah, this can be happening because yeah, you're right. I was kind of dubious about what this team could do, probably only because of the 2 years that we've had. That games like that where it isn't top gear, it isn't the final finished product. It's not all polished or anything, but all of that did happen is still making me think maybe I've underestimated it there, and those good things can happen.
I mean, let's be honest. That game kicked off at 12:30 yesterday because Sky thought that was a banana skin. That didn't kick off because of any other reason. That kicked off at 12:30 because Sky thought Peterborough could upset Luton.
Mm.
And the fact that there was not even a semblance of a chance of that being the case speaks paramount. Yeah, okay, it'll impact more heavily all across everything if it's 5 and 6-0 and it's convincing, but it can't be any more convincing than it was yesterday. It just you just have a few more goals to bump up your goal difference. That's the only way yesterday could improve from half-time onwards. Once he made that tactical change, and believe me, Jimbo, I'm biting my tongue so hard to not, to not go down that route because it's bloody obvious where we need to go. And
Say it.
maybe
Say the thing.
maybe when Izzy Jones is back, the back four is a thing from now on. Maybe it is that he wants Izzy Jones there. I don't know, or a Dolphin. But Nigel played right back absolutely fine. And what happened was he never went forward, whereas Cal Naismith did go forward, and then they all shuffled across because Nigel can play centre half. They just made a little back three whilst we was attacking, and I remember being in that Three Counties studio when Matt got appointed, and he said the guy who covers Wycombe Wanderers, Sam, for Three Counties, he said to me he really expected Matt Bloomfield to do well at Luton because his left back is a constant attacker and his right back just sits still and does the defending. And of course, the left back he was referring to at the time was Alfie Doughty, best left back in the Championship, as he showed yesterday with that ball for Millwall's winner. Now we've got another equally good left back in Cal Naismith who can do that going forward, get the ball and go forward with it and build those overloads that, I mean, he must have said it to you guys 15, 20 times on Wednesday. And that's what he's got. And just park this back three nonsense, Matt. Come on. Get the old handbrake off. Let's get a back four going and let's go and romp this league.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're splitting hairs really, and in this particular occasion, back three, back four didn't really matter. It was comfortable either way. It's just it's about when you score the goals and how you score the goals, I suppose. And there'll be some people of school of thought that we should just be romping past everybody, and that's not going to be the case. It's just difficult. They can all cope in this division, probably largely physically and maybe a bit tactically, when we've seen it in the two divisions we've gone up from this. When you get to the Championship, at the final third, people are a bit more clinical. When you get to the Premier League, it's ridiculous. And the third division footballers, because they're not going to punish you as much as we have seen in the last few seasons. So, it all starts from this back, and if you can make that as solid as he has done, and it was right that they did that, and they did that early, got the bodies in the building, which is the phrase everyone seems to use these days, and do that, and that's your foundation. Do that, and all the building blocks come after that. We can still build, and everybody is still building until that transfer window shuts and everybody knows who they've got and who they haven't got and who they've lost. You're still building towards something. But all the while, if we can get through this entire month by playing like it did, certainly in the second half, and winning games and not conceding goals, the confidence that's going to bring is just the likes of which we haven't seen for a while. We have seen it, we've just forgotten how to feel about it.
Yeah, we'll have to dig that out of our memories. Yeah, the one thing is when Luton have got momentum, the fan base gets right behind it. It's a tough juggernaut to stop in there. I referenced it 6 years ago, 28-game unbeaten run. You know, they're the kind of vibes that we're kind of going on. You know, these late goals. I remember in that 28-game unbeaten run, Walsall away just after Christmas when Kazenga Loa scored in about the 129th minute, and everyone was in the away end, and it was just pandemonium. It's moments like that, and teams don't know when they're beaten, like, and they keep on going. Like, to be fair, we did against Wimbledon, and okay, we got lucky, and that's another trait of successful sides, isn't it? They earn their own luck and they get lucky. And early days, but there is an awful lot to like on the pitch right now. And the beauty of it is, if this new car, it's only just been put in first gear, isn't it? It's a lot more gears for this team to find, both with players coming back, Izzy Jones in particular, both with players getting sort of used to each other, Wells, Yates, Clark in particular, that sort of front three axis, not so much the defence. Baptiste and Saville are only going to grow as a partnership, you know, and it was noticeable in that second half that when Baptiste went, Saville just sat, and when Saville went, Baptiste just sat. There was never a stage where a counter-attack was on, and we've been a team that's been counter-attacked an awful lot in the last sort of 18 months in particular, particularly when Rob was here. I mean, when we lost the ball, it was like head in your hands sort of thing, because you knew what was coming. No counter-attacks. And this is a Peterborough team that have got a lot of pace in them. You know, since for all that they didn't look particularly great, they've still got a lot of pace in them. Never really threatened, and yeah, I like what I'm seeing, Jimbo. I do. I like what I'm seeing. I expected us to get promotion this season. You know, I got asked by a BBC Sport journalist before the Wimbledon game, you know, what are your expectations for the season? And I said, well, anything outside the top six is a failure. It has to be a failure, regardless of, you know, who's in this league and who isn't. Just purely on the financial benefits that we can call upon, hopefully, if we need to, or hopefully we don't need to call upon them. But me personally, I expect us to get automatically promoted. I looked at this league. I can't find two teams that I'm thinking I don't fancy beating them over 46 games. I can't find them. And now we've seen a couple of games. Huddersfield look good, fair enough. Credit where it's due. Stockport not quite so, but again they've got a couple of wins on the board, fair enough. But some of the other fancied runners, Blackpool, I think it was second from bottom or something like that. You know, we're winning games and not looking good, not playing anywhere near our best, and we're not gonna play at our best for 46 games, are we?
No, that's what I mean. If you can get results while all those other things are still trying to fall into place, then you're well on the way to achieving something in this division. Yeah, it's right that we should get happy and excited by wins. We haven't had a lot of them, and I don't think we're being. I don't think it's a case of getting carried away. It's just that what we're seeing has the air of successful seasons we've seen in the past.
At this level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been doing this since the podcast at least since 2017 in League Two, so we've seen all that rise, and we know how it feels. It's just been a bloody long time since those feelings have come about yet, and early days, so it's not quite there yet. Obviously, but there's the signs of it, and as long as they are there, then you can look ahead and look to the future with a better degree of confidence.
Yep. There'll be bumps in the road. Of course there will. We're not going to win 46 games of football this season. We're not going to keep 46 clean sheets. Hell, it'd be fantastic if we did. We're not. Kearley is going to concede a goal. Do you know what? Kearley is going to come racing out of his box for a ball at some point, make a complete arse of it, and they're going to score, because that's the balance of risk that he has to make in a split second. But I'd much rather that than every striker go one-on-one with our goalkeeper because he's got glue on the goal line, and that's absolutely fine. The defense,
but a mountain of clean sheets can happen.
Oh,
you
yeah.
look at Burnley last season.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they trounced us, but they
twice.
They kept just clean sheets like you wouldn't believe. And if they went ahead, they looked like, and they were, and the evidence was there that they knew they were going to win because they weren't conceding goals. And you can go up that way. Everybody wants to see teams your team blitz another team off the park, and that be the case for the whole season. But a win's a win, and got 2 of them.
We have, yep. Yeah, just to finish that, when we do concede and when we do lose a game, it's not going to be the end of the world. We just got to, trust the process and go and win more games than what we don't. And obviously, the reason why we're in this league is because we've not done that over the last 2 years. But 2 wins in succession to start a season, feels bloody good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Feels magnificent. Yeah, I think it's 2006, 2007 last time that's happened, isn't it? And blimey, still wearing white back then, weren't we?
We were. Yeah, we weren't even owned by 2020 back then, were we? That's how long ago it was. And they've been in charge for 17 years. So, yep, well done, Matt. Well done, the boys. Keep it going. Let's hope there's more progression on Saturday. Don't think any of us are too worried about Tuesday. We'll come on to Tuesday night in a moment. But before we do, shout out time for score predictions. They're going to need a podcast on its own, this, Jimbo. 18 people picked Luton to win 2-0. There were loads of people that picked Luton to win. The scoreboard's going to be quite busy when I get the table up with 18 winners. We're going down the CFAX route that it don't appear on. The table don't appear for a couple of games because I need time to get it all sorted out and everything.
You're now going to have to explain to the younger people what CFAX is.
Ask your old man if you don't know what CFAX is. Back in the day when Jimbo and I were boys, you didn't see you could only see league tables in newspapers, and they didn't bother printing them for about 8 games, did they? This where a Luton after 2 games malarkey. We
need to get the Hovis music on this little rant, this little monologue.
We do.
But back in my day.
Well, we are getting on a bit, mate.
We are, mate.
We are. Hence why we're enjoying a couple of wins when they come along. So, shout-outs. There's an awful lot of them. So, forgive me for looking down at my phone for all of the YouTube handles. So, Phil Oliver, 5118. Peter Armitage, 3078. Wookie Down Under. Paul Rance, 59. Mark Hennigan, 3955. 1973 Disco Stew. Decremio. Mark Williams, 2191. Ian Eon. Steve Foster, 7628. I'm assuming it's not, but if it is, let us know. Carl Mitchley, 5742. Rev DM Brown. L Brimble, 100. Mark Crowther.
Oh, Mark
Crowther, 8688. Daz Fit Studio, David Proudfoot, 7603. Louis Pepper and Fleety, 1885, who got in minutes before kickoff. All picked 2-0. You're all joint leaders of this score prediction. Absolutely, yeah. Loads and loads and loads of correct score entries. We'll put them all up and we'll get the leaderboard up for the Bradford game, for the preview of the Bradford game. Give me a few more days to get that sorted. But more importantly, Jimbo, I'm 1-0 up on you.
That's not good. Maybe I don't know, but I don't think anyone commented on whether reverse psychology for the win needs to come back, but maybe it just does because I need some points.
You talk about reverse psychology for the win. I've got myself into a bit of a spot of dilemma.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously famous for wearing a hat at games, hence the Kev's Hat Kev's Hat Twitter handle and everything. Well, I was out a little bit too late on Friday night. I'd had a sherbet or 2, and I got up and I was all over the gaff on Saturday morning. So I went flying out without the hat, and of course we've just gone and won 2-0. So on Saturday, is it hat or no hat?
Well, more to the point, he's got his old sunglasses on now. Well, I want to see you. I want to see you deep in midwinter, still sporting the sunglasses because you have to,
mate. Last season,
sunglasses or no sunglasses,
mate. Last season, I wish I had sunglasses on for the whole season, let alone just summer. But yeah, you are right. I did have the old sunglasses on. I was trying to find a place where the sun wasn't shining out of that ground, and we finally found a wall that I could perch myself up against. And my dear old sister was the camera person on that occasion. I didn't have to give off all sorts of unflattering camera angles with selfie videos and things like that.
I hope people like that. We sort of just soft launch you without telling anybody we were going to do it. But yeah, Kev's going to do sort of instant reactions straight after the game, so you've got something to watch on the evening of the game until we do this full-length podcast afterwards. If any of you want to get involved and be on the camera with Kev and you're at the game, obviously you have to be there. Get in touch as well, because then if we could have a little revolving cast, that'd be fabulous. Because I'm sure from 10 or so games, you'll want a different voice in there as well at some point as well. But yeah, get in touch if you want that to happen. If you go into the game and you want to have you say your piece, and they'll only be short. We're not talking Arsenal TV nonsense.
No, that's it. First two, as you've seen, been 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Just a quick recap of the game, just something that we can feed you over with until we get in here and do the main podcast. But it seems to be going down really, really well. Over 2,000 of you have watched them, both ones, and that's just on YouTube. Obviously, Instagram hits and everything else. They'll find them on Instagram, find them on Facebook. We'll put them on Twitter as well where we can. And obviously, they're on YouTube. They'll be out within the hour after the full-time whistle, won't they? As long as there's no phone signal issues or anything like that.
Yeah, or any editorial jiggery pokery we have to do, but I think that'll be the case. Yeah, yeah, I quite like him as well. So yeah, we'll keep doing that for you. Or he will keep doing that for you.
I will indeed. Yeah, it means that I go to every game, so might as well make use of it. Absolutely. We'll finish this podcast off with a look ahead to the cup game on Tuesday. As I said in that instant reaction, still summer holidays. We've got families. This really, really chaotic sort of period at the moment and things like that. So we're not going to preview the Carabao Cup in full. We certainly aren't going to preview it after Matt Bloomfield pretty much gave the game away that he's going to rotate his team on Tuesday night. Not that any of us would have expected anything otherwise. Who are you expecting to see on Tuesday night, Jimbo, in terms of team? I mean, obviously, there's obvious ones who are going to play. James Shea will play. Mark McGuinness will get more minutes than what he has been getting. People who come on, Fanny, Nelson, maybe Liam Walsh, Nigel Longvike. I'm trying to think who Gideon Kadua would be another one, maybe. But where do you see? Are you expecting to see Jerry Yates on Tuesday night?
I mean, he could, because he's not had any game time in pre-season. So yeah, why not just to get him more up to speed? Although he's not probably going to be playing with the players that are currently ahead of the likes of those that you've said. But I think it will be a good, useful exercise to getting some game time, and Fana as well, because he's had that 3 weeks where he's missed out with the concussion protocol. So I expect him to stay. He's nigh on said that Mark McGuinness is going to be starting, and I think that should be the case. He's come on and did quite well when he's come on, but he obviously missed 2.5 weeks with the virus, lost a lot of weight and stuff, so you have to put that back on, and that's pretty difficult. So all those things will be good. I think obviously Cohen Bramall played for the under-21s at the weekend, so you'd want to see him start, because they're going to have to try and speed that up, I think. And Rue Walters is possibly injured, which is unfortunate. We were talking about him in the last post-match. So, options that might be able to replace him at Bradford, I say. But yeah, wholesale changes. I'm more than happy with that anyway. I said that before the season even started, that the Virtu Trophy League Cup can just be, for the kids, and I'll be well happy with that. And unfortunately, we sent some kids out on loan. I mean, they've all gone and done quite well at the weekend. Taylor Harris scored at Tranmere Rovers, I see, as well. So good on him. And I think they've got a call back in January, haven't they? If he's doing okay.
Usually do have, don't they? Yeah.
So, hopefully he scores a hatful up there, and then he might come into the picture more here, depending on how the rest of the transfer window goes. Obviously, the collapse of the Samson Tovid deal was revealed by Danny Cowley, the Colchester boss, at the weekend, after reports of it being a fee agreed and everything, but the minutiae is what he said. They couldn't agree on that, which is disappointing. But whether he would be a first team starter, I don't know. He is young, and his goal record isn't particularly high at the moment. But that's not to say that Luton couldn't have developed him. And I don't know whether they go back in for him. Who knows? But pretty much as soon as that news came out, there was some other news about Joe Gabodi, didn't they, from Gillingham, and 2 bids that have been turned down then. No confirmation from Gillingham or Luton on that front. It's a transfer speculation story. So there's irons clearly in the fire that they're trying to work out. I think people want lots of money spent. I don't know if that's going to happen now. They've got Jerry Yates as the main guy. Naki Wells is more than capable. I think that eventually the front three for me would be Millie Ali and those two. And so then you're really buying or looking for backup strikers, which will get game time under Matt Bloomfield's system, or what we've seen at Wickham. But yeah, probably not the first names on the team sheet. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that front. Clearly, they are looking, they are trying, but that will might go to the wire, that one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if people still want money spent because of the start that we've made. I suspect people just want to know where the money is, and a lot of it, clearly, we don't need to be told that it's gone on Power Court. It's obvious, but maybe if an up-to-date figure of how much Power Court is costing could come out, then that would help dampen down the expectation of the transfer spending spree, wouldn't it? People would know roughly how much it's all undisclosed, isn't it? But people would know roughly how much we've got in, how much has gone there, and and obviously we want cash in the bank for getting us through this season as well, so that we're not going cap in hand to investors and everything else. It would just dampen down expectation, but the results on the pitch are going to dampen down transfer spending. And as I pointed out in the last podcast, according to BBC Sport, we did pay a 7-figure fee for Jerry Yates, so it's not like they've not spent or anything like that. So yeah, time will tell. 3 weeks of the transfer window open. Obviously, Luton usually get pretty busy towards the end of any transfer window, don't they? Particularly the summer one. So we'll keep our eyes and ears across all of that.
The good news is, I think you can see, and the evidence shows, Luton aren't desperate for bodies.
No.
And it probably will be back up, which is wise given the injury situations. But it's also players going to go out because he doesn't want a heavily overloaded squad as well. So
it's still bloated, isn't it?
It is, and you can expect, you can see the players that you expect might go. But so far it's gone a bit quiet on that front. But I think it tends to in the final weeks, and then the last few days are an absolute bun fight, aren't they? So
someone will get desperate and come along and take them, won't they? And we'll react to it as and when. Looking forward to Coventry. Nice to go to a game of football. Relaxed about the result. Obviously, we're not going to be that. Well, I mean, we're going to be relaxed because we think we're going to win an awful lot of football matches this season. But there is still pressure on every league result. There's no real pressure on this. Not sure if I'm in Jimbo's boat for the Virtue Trophy. I don't see any reason why we can't give that a good crack if we're in a decent league position at the time that it comes along. But we'll worry about that down the line. It would be nice to beat Coventry again, though. They have got this right beef with us, haven't they, since that Darbo penalty went flying over the crossbar. And then, of course, we put a spanner in their playoff works last season, which fortunately for them, they got themselves out of on the last day of the season, which wasn't particularly kind to us. It would be funny if we beat them again. And hey, last time we won the Littlewoods Cup, beat Coventry along the way, Jimbo.
Yeah, mate, you don't want to lose when you've got this momentum all of a sudden. You certainly don't want to get absolutely trounced. I can't see that particularly happening this season, but you never know. I've not paid any attention to what Coventry are doing for once because we're not in that division anymore. That's just normal.
Well, they've only played one game as well. It started at the weekend, didn't it? They drew 0-0 with Hull.
Well, even so, I've not paid any bloody attention to it whatsoever. I'm only aware because Luton Twitter was alight the fact that Charlton beat them lot down the road in the last minute, and Nathan Jones give it the old Nathan Jones treatment. I'm only aware of that really, but that will park the Championship for a while for me, and hopefully we'll be back there pretty soon.
About January, we'll be taking more notice of it, Jimbo, I think, and I hope that that's the case. Score prediction, Tuesday night?
1-1, and then 11-10 on penalties.
Darbo to miss the imagine if it goes to penalties. Crikey Riley. I should just say, actually, those of you who haven't got a ticket for the away end on Tuesday night, Sky Sports Plus are showing all of the Carabao Cup games this week, so you'll be able to watch it on there. And if it is a level after 90 minutes, straight to penalties, We're not going anywhere near extra time or any of that nonsense. We done extra time at Wembley. Don't need to do it again against this lot. And yeah, if it does go to penalties, memories, Jimbo, memories. If I see Marvellous Nakamba walking up for a penalty or something like that, it really will throw back some memories.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Marvellous Nakamba because he got
Played under 21 game, didn't he?
He started, didn't he? Yeah, so
45 minutes, did I hear someone say in the press conference that
yeah,
he played?
45 minutes, and but his knee, he can't train 2 days in a row at the moment. I think it is, or can't train consistently because of his knee injury, and that's not gonna change because of his age and how long that's been going on. So
They might want to keep that a bit whilst transfer window's open. He can train absolutely perfectly fine and everything.
But no, they've saying it last season as well.
Yeah, they were.
Listen,
everyone will know that Marvellous's knee's not in particularly grand shape. The one person who we haven't spoken about with regards to Coventry is Lasse Nordas, who scored the winner in that under 21 game.
Yeah, and he scored quite a few in pre-season, didn't he? It's yeah. I mean, how long does it take to get a player up to speed? I suppose. Would he not be better off on the bench as a backup? Who knows? But yeah, that is probably a good chance for him to shine, and if he can score and get it'll be his first competitive goal for Luton, and see what he's all about, because yeah, we've seen very little of him so far.
And rumours doing the rounds that Middlesbrough and Oxford are keeping tabs on Cauley Woodrow. So if Cauley Woodrow was to leave, there's a space on the bench that's available for an attacker, which would be Lasse Nordas right now until we worry about the Colchester and Gillingham geezers. So yeah, it might be a good night for Nordas to come on and shine. I mean, he's definitely one who's been impacted by the 9 subs down to 7, isn't he? You'd thought if there was 9, he would have been one of the extra 2, because we don't really have that many people that are fit and that aren't actually in that matchday squad. Funnily enough, you mentioned Kadua. Felt a bit sorry for him yesterday. So he's travelled as part of the squad. He's obviously the leftover man. But rather than like putting his feet up and going down and having a McDonald's breakfast or whatever, they had him running lengths of the pitch in the hour before the game, baking hot, sun's belting down, and he's zipping up and down. Got no chance of playing. Then they put him through the warm-up that the team goes through. He's not on the bench. Obviously, they're doing it in case there's an injury in the warm-up. And then, having done all of that, he just gets to sit and watch a game of football, having busted his balls going up and down this pitch for an hour. I'm like,
it's all good work under the belt, I suppose, is what they're probably seeing it as. If he's not quite up to speed yet, then everything helps.
It's not my Saturday afternoon gig, Jimbo. Let me tell you.
Well, no, you said you had too many sherbets, and so you were.
I wish I did. I know Friday night I had too many. Yeah, not Saturday. No time. Nowhere was open. No time.
This game finished early. We're talking about.
Oh, you're on about afterwards. Dodgy ground. Yeah. So you 1-1 your score prediction and some weird random penalty shootout thing. Do you know what? This is one time where I'm all right to predict Luton to lose, because Matt's basically said it's going to be a reserve team. I have a funny feeling Coventry will be a little bit stronger than what they normally would, because they've only played 1 league game. Normally you've played 2, haven't you? So I would imagine they'll want to get their first team or any new signings or anything like that proper up to speed and things like that. So they have got a bit of a bee in their bonnet with us, haven't they? So they might be a little bit stronger than normal. So 2-1 Coventry, maybe a late winner for Coventry when we start taking players off and bringing maybe academy players on and things like that. We concede a late winner. Hey, late winner at Coventry. We've been there before, haven't we?
We have. Is that the first time you've ever predicted defeat on this podcast?
It might well be, yeah. Well, no. I'm surely when we went to the Etihad or something, I weren't stupid enough to think we were getting anything from there, was I?
I remember you being very chipper the whole entire time. The Premier League.
Not that day. I wasn't chipper that day. I was fearful that day. I was more than happy it was 5 that day. When Haaland scored off of Hashioka's backside, or the other way round, Hashioka belted into Haaland's backside after 40-odd seconds or whatever. I was signing for 5, Jimbo, let me tell you. Don't worry about that. Yeah, 2-1 Coventry for me. Normal service will be resumed with regards to me picking Luton to win come the weekend. Get your score predictions in for this one. We're going to do this cup game instead of the AFC Wimbledon game that we missed out on because we couldn't get a preview out to you. We'll do it do the score predictions over 46 games. So this is the one and only cup game that we're going to do, unless of course we have to miss a podcast anytime in the future. Just a word of warning for those of you that like our background and everything else. 1 or 2 podcasts in the not too distant might be done on Zoom while we move from here to our new podcast studio. So we'll try and keep it as sort of regular and everything as what we normally do, but there might be a little period, particularly as it's the summer holidays and everything else, where we can't get into a studio all the time. Podcasts will come at you. There might just be the odd one you're going to have to put up with on Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, if his work in progress is good enough for the team in League One, and couple of old Zoom ones which might be dodgy on the old visuals, but you still get all the usual
Rubbish
from us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So please do bear with us over the next couple of 3 weeks or so. But once we're into our new studio and everything will hopefully run tickety-boo and regular as clockwork, and we'll be coming at you for what we hope are another 44 Luton League wins. That's pretty much it for this episode of the podcast. Do be loud and proud if you've got a ticket to the away end on Tuesday night. Give the boys as much encouragement as you can, particularly the younger ones that are in the squad. It's obviously going to be a big night for them, and it'd be fantastic if we can get behind them and let them showcase their stuff against a side who quite possibly in 9 months' time could be playing in the Premier League or be promoted to the Premier League based on all the bookmakers' odds and everything. So that would be good. And then, of course, it'll be full steam ahead for the Bradford game. We will touch on the Coventry Cup game, but we'll do a full preview of the Bradford game. That'll be out sort of Thursday-ish into Friday, won't it, for all of you to watch and listen to and get your score predictions in. Get your score predictions in for Coventry, and you'll get a shout-out in the Bradford preview if you get that right. And as I say, during that Bradford preview, we'll put the leaderboard up from that first game of the season.
Lovely job. Did you get all that?
What a brilliant...
Write that down.
What a brilliant weekend.
I've had a fantastic weekend. I've been monkeying around at London Zoo today after the game.
Monkeying around...
God, it's
You're good
stuff, isn't
You're
it?
good,
It's good stuff. Yeah, I've had a great weekend, and it's been rare that we can say that.
Got a rogue flying animal at London Zoo. Mo Salah's penalty must have landed somewhere in the vicinity
The
of that
sheer
place.
amount of Crystal Palace fans I saw knocking around London and then all getting on trains to northern places was quite surprising.
Fair play to him. Two Wembley wins in 3 months.
Can't complain, can you?
I'm happy with the one that we had 2 years ago, mate.
Yeah.
Not greedy. That is pretty much it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks for everyone who came up to me yesterday and let me know how much you're enjoying the podcast and glad to see us back and everything else. We're equally as glad to be back as you guys are to have us back. Do keep your comments coming in. We really do appreciate them. And on those flash sort of ones that we do after games, if you've got a talking point that you want us to discuss in the review, bang it on those comments. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll do that in the full review episode. I will put out an initial reaction after the Coventry game. And then, as I say, Jimbo and myself will be back for a full look at Bradford away on Saturday as our next podcast. Thanks to the Barber Club and the Lower Level in Luton for hosting our studio. Once again, really appreciate your support, guys. And to Sean Grant and the Wolfgang for all our intro music. As I say, until later in the week, from Jimbo and myself, come on, Town, let's give Coventry a right good go.